ball.
Happy to beat everybody associated with the gym.
To win games, you have to win the game.
Gotta go on forever! Summer is over. Fare thee well, hot and humid weather. The autumn winds come in from the north, and football consumes us whole. Hockey season about to begin. And playoff baseball? Well, if you have a good team unlike the one in Pittsburgh, then yes. Tickets to go will be at a premium. So for me, I whip up my phone and go right to SeatGeek, the sponsor of this video, to help me out in this quest. The resale market's full of gems and bargains, but you need to know where to look. With the SeatGeek app, it sorts all tickets from red to green on a 1 to 10 scale. It'll also help you get a view from where you'll be sitting. And all tickets available are also verified for authenticity. Should have helped me find seats for a Pittsburgh Riverhounds game a few weeks ago. When I say you can use it for any game or concert, I mean anything. Use the code TREE to save $20 off your first order, too. SeatGeek offers both a seamless experience and hassle-free transaction every time. Trust me, that's why I use it frequently. The transition to the video won't be as seamless, unfortunately. Let's begin with the madness of Week 3. Why are you so shocked about how this played out? If you think about it, this is incredibly on brand for the Dolphins. Bills may own them and I did the Doom mashup, but this is Thursday night and this is the epitome of a trap game. It'll be close. Far closer than anyone in Buffalo would like. Might have to do with their defense pureed in a blender health-wise, but Miami's down to cornerbacks that played in the Arena League, so it's even. I will give credit to the Finns keeping their resolve in spite of their endless doubters and tribulations. Like Coach McDaniel says, to win games, you have to win the game. They're keeping neck and neck with their adversary deep in the fourth quarter. A fun and intriguing matchup for 31 franchises. Oh shit, Miami's gonna get the ball back there's a roughing the kicker penalty. And Buffalo retook the lead as a result. Well, we know what's coming next. Tua hasn't made his customary brutal turnover of the game yet. Only a matter of time. And there it is. Tua. Dude, you're barely throwing past the line of scrimmage. Miami's doing everything to mask your decline, yet you still throw these back-breaking picks? Leave it to them to give their fans the slightest sliver of hope, only to rip it in agonizing fashion. Buffalo wins insanely ugly but escapes the trap. They feast on Dolphin once again. And that might have been their last gasp. Fare thee well, Miami. It was nice knowing you in this failed window. Did anyone in Tennessee have hope for the Titans this year? If you did for any other reason besides Cam Ward, you need to be 3-0-2. Even Cam's having serious growing pains. You're going up against one of the stronger upstarts in the league, and Tennessee's still trying to figure out how the fuck to move the ball forwards. What'd you expect? Jonathan Taylor, meanwhile, will gash the shit out of this defense for 3 TDs. Near flawless execution on all fronts. And Tennessee's just getting executed. The Titan offense abridged. Consecutive timeouts taken by each team to prepare for a field goal, immediately followed by a delay of game penalty and a missed 62-yarder. They were debating whether to go for it or kick this late in the first half? God, Brian Callahan is such a fucking terrible coach. How did he not get canned last year? Does he make a good old-fashioned? Is he just like handing the Colts points? I guess that's worth keeping someone around to an extent, but their on-field performance is dog shit. Indianapolis wallops the living hell out of this JV squad to go to 3-0, but it's at a cost. They had to punt the ball. What a terrible tragedy to inflict on Indiana. Oh well, next victim. This year's gonna fucking kill me, I know it. Jake Browning going mano-a-mano against Carson Wentz in an NFL game. It's Week 3. The Bengals were a very fraudulent 2-0 if you had the misfortune of seeing them play. Their performance against Minnesota vindicated it. Jake Browning's the closest thing we have to famous Jameis in the NFL besides the man himself. With these tasty turnovers he's surrendering, it's no wonder why. If you told me it was Neil O'Donnell, I would have believed you. The Bengals made Isaiah Rodgers into this week's Larry Brown. A performance for the ages. With 2 defensive touchdowns of extremely long variety. A perfect PFF grade. Hot pockets for days. Plus, there's that god-awful defense the Bengals feature getting destroyed whenever it stepped on the field. Against Jordan Mason and Carson Wentz in the year 2025. The Shaq and Boston meme personified under center. Viking struggles on offense? Not today. Now we have people saying KOC's a QB whisperer. With games like this, a non-imploding Wentz, I can see it. Minnesota gets back on the horse. They kinda needed to. Oh my good God. Falcons, what the fuck was that? This is supposed to be a performance? Against a hated rival, they not only imploded like a lithium battery, they turned into a whole lot of Chinese EVs. Endless, uncontrolled burning. To a Panthers team that had one good quarter to their name. They made Bryce Young look passable. John Parker Romo got afflicted with the same disease that claimed Young Wei Koo. It went from Viking heights to being feasted on by Panther. Michael slammed his Penix in the car door. Repeatedly. Like these aren't anything close to NFL caliber throws on these picks. What the hell are you doing, man? This offense can't get past the Panther 30 like it's some kind of in-game boundary. All the chemistry of combining bleach and ammonia. This is supposed to be a playoff contender? Why the fuck do Fontenot, Morris, and Z-Rob still have jobs? This was outright humiliation. Heads get lopped off for far less. But the punishment will be just as severe. Atlanta thought they saw the last of Kirko. They believed themselves to be free. They were wrong. Very wrong. In the end, all that remains are Cousins and Carolina fiddling while the Falcons burn around them. Earning not just a win, but the first shutout of the season. And Atlanta earning locale of the week, too. Panthers might have hope after all. For about 2 weeks. You know those games where you can just predict which team will win in a blowout? That's what Raiders Commies was. Nobody takes the corporate Raiders seriously, not even their own fans. They were defanged long ago. And so was the team itself. Jaden Daniels may be out for Nate from Ted Lasso, it didn't matter at all. This wasn't close. To call this competitive is like declaring Dan Snyder to be a humanitarian. Don't worry, Raiders fans, Ashton Ginty's merely undergoing load management. He's just like Kawhi. All the way down to the shell company they'll create to pay him under the table. Wait, this is Mark Davis, he's not that cunning. Neither is their offensive line. Or special teams. Washington ravaged them like a Golden Corral buffet. That fountain ain't serving chocolate, kids. It's what remains of Las Vegas after this. As reward Geno Smith as his typical good game on paper that the analytics crowd praises, yet ignore that he did fuck all until garbage time. Simply the commie seizing the means of a win from the get-go. Solid bounce back after the disaster that occurred at Lambeau. Sometimes you need an easy antidote to recover. It's usually the Raiders. Do I really have to go over this game? Both these teams are fucking painful to watch. If you were to ask a generic AI what they believe a football game should be, this contest is what it would create. Let's just let them play in the corner and bash their heads off a wall. They'll knock themselves out in no time at all. Yet they apparently haven't. We're into the second half and both teams are struggling to do anything with the football. And we know Trevor Lawrence is an inconsistent mess. It's more damning for the Texans. We can't deny it any longer. CJ Stroud's regressing in real time. This guy called himself a top 3 QB in the NFL. My man, you're barely top 3 in your damn division. Especially with some of these so-called throws you're making. Sure, blame the terrible O-line. Blame the bastard child of Matt Canada and Pete Carmichael calling plays. Houston's lucky this game's even tied. And honestly, that might have more to do with Nico Collins than Stroud. Can't believe I'm even saying that about him, but this is dire. It's a game. And that's probably stretching it to the point of peak elasticity. Trevor Lawrence and Jacksonville's offense run themselves over on repeat yet again, but the Texans can't capitalize. Nico Collins fumble. Can we just give both of these teams losses we cry out to the gods? But in our darkest hour, the greatest blessing. Oh my goodness. Brian Thomas caught a pass. Down the middle of the field? For big yardage? Miracles really can happen.
Bust and to give Jacksonville their biggest play of the game. ETN, and he's in for the Jacksonville touchdown.
When this was scored, I thought, wait a second, they left too much time on the board. Houston's got plenty of power and the NFL loves comebacks. But then I remembered, it's the Texans. They're drowning in stagnant water. Jacksonville didn't do enough to lose, so they're stricken with the most unfortunate victory. The ugliest matchup I've seen since last week from Duval, but this time BTJ could catch, so they hang on. Houston's now 0-3. Division? At this point, I'm concerned if they even make the playoffs in their sorry state. Turns out that CJ should have been trying to catch more than the train. He needs a flight out of town. The situation in Houston's unraveling faster than Stroud's performance. Cancer spreading throughout the organization and excision sorely needed. But different CJ's become malignant. Gardner Johnson being disruptive, I am truly shocked. This time, it's less forgivable. Constantly shitting on fellow teammates, the team's defensive schematics, and demanding trades on the first charge. When you aren't good, you can't get away with that shit. So CJ gets the axe. And I fear it might be too late to stem the Texan tide. This train's rolling along at full speed towards the station. And there are no brakes. Don't worry about CJ, he'll find work easily. Perhaps back with, say, the Eagles. Patriots fans were calling their team a playoff contender? In what world, a decade ago? This shit was unwatchable, so pretty much the average Steeler game over the last 8 years or so. New England dominated the yardage battle. They were the more aggressive team taking control of the field in between the hashes. It wouldn't have been anything close if the Pats didn't self-destruct at every goddamn opportunity. Seriously, this was pure comedy. Why the fuck is Ramondre Stevenson still getting carries with hands made of paper mache? Antonio Gibson, he's fucking up too. Just fucking play Trevion Henderson. It's not like you drafted him in the second round or something. 5 turnovers baked to perfection. They kept handing the ball to Pittsburgh like they were Christmas gifts. If the Patriots fucked the ball like this in the Revolution, the British would have won in 3 weeks. The fact that this was tied deep into the fourth despite Pittsburgh dominating the turnover battle is deeply disturbing. 1 yard of offense on 3 turnovers? Are we sure Matt Canada got fired? But the Steelers have 4-leaf clovers up their ass. The NFL needs Tomlin to maintain his non-losing record streak, so Pittsburgh squeaks by yet again before the trip to Ireland. Seriously, DeMario? Just fucking fall forward! Now the national media is gonna pretend that Pittsburgh's competitive when a real team would have savaged them. Victory in spite of poor coaching and playing like shit for long stretches of time. Thank the Lord for Ramondre. New England's answer to Rashard Mendenhall. Seriously, I've been laughing since Sunday. It's all you can do. Don't tell Aaron Glenn the sky's falling. The Jets are spiraling again, but hope is on the way. It won't be Justin Fields, he's out. Tyrod Taylor gets the nod. Before he suffers yet another freak injury. Or maybe the Jets suffer a freak injury on the field. This is turning into yet another thorough ass-kicking. Even with all their injuries, Tampa Bay's forcing them into submission. Seriously, the Bucs O-line's held together with packing tape at this point. And again, as long as their D keeps terrorizing Tyrod at every turn, that shouldn't be much of an issue. Before you blink an eye, it's a 3-score game. And the Jets don't have an answer for anything. But then something interesting happens. Tampa steps off the gas. Todd Bowles puts on the emergency brake. New York will rise in the fourth quarter. So it turns out Tyrod's destroying worlds again. Those flashes of elite form he showed in Buffalo a decade ago, they're coming back. The Buccaneer defense can't contain him. I'm not even joking. Tyrod Taylor dissecting schematics and driving offense in 2025. It's a sight to behold. And it's now a 1-score contest. That's all but gonna wrap it up. It wasn't a pretty game, Tampa. Not just in terms of competitiveness, but in losing Mike Evans, but a win's a win, so no complaints. This field goal should do it.
Oh, blocked! Field goal attempt is blocked! Scooped up and will be taken all the way for a Jets touchdown!
Well, so much for that. Everything is fucked. Tampa in shambles. Aaron Glenn's vibes are immaculate. And all his defense has to do is contain Baker and his men for a few minutes. Do you really believe that? Pissed off Baker Mayfield's still foaming at the mouth. Steve Wilkes got him in Carolina. He wants revenge. This game should have been long over, but if there's anything the NFL enjoys, it's making people squirm in close contests. Trust me, it happened a lot this week. Chase McLaughlin, you're the Bucs' only hope. Kick with precision.
McLaughlin's kick is right down the middle.
So, that was a game. I don't know how the fuck it got that close, but it's a victory, I guess. Lil Jets was just too strong in the end. Even in a valiantly fought comeback, New York experiences traditional pain. As Baker teabags Steve Wilkes in midfield. Something moral victories. Doesn't mean shit when you're 0-3. God gives Cleveland his toughest battles. Not only staring at the barrel of a painful 0-2 start, they have to run into the strongest team in the early going so far. The Packers. Yet even for their prowess and skill, there's one gambit the Browns can play. Their elite defense. They'd be 1-1 if they had a damn kicker. They can take comfort in that. They can also take comfort in a brutal defensive grind. And I mean a grind. Neither offense able to escape the clutches of their adversary. Green Bay struggling to move the football. Cleveland just can't do much of anything. Joe Flacco's only elite in getting booed by the home crowd. At least if you're a Packers supporter, you have a double-digit lead to hang on. We're sweating a bit, but this should be easy. Browns are cursed and they don't have an offense. And it definitely looks that way in the fourth. Until Cleveland gets near the goal line. Wait, this is too much of an attack for the Browns. They'll commit a chop block and ruin their drive. Field goal time. Unbelievably a one-score game. Survivor pools across the nation hang in the balance. Green Bay's gonna need a drive. That shouldn't be hard. Jordan Love's the second coming of far.
Four-man rush. Love throws. Intercepted. Picked off.
All the way down to the mind-boggling picks. Easy touchdown for the Browns. Tie game. Panic time now, baby. Going as far as they can, yet nowhere close enough to salvation. Wisconsin may be 20 beers deep, but this is fine. The field goal tries a gimme.
The kick is blocked. It is blocked.
Oh my god. I think the entirety of the NFC North is about to bust a nut. The Browns are holding the Week 2 Super Bowl champions to heel. Please, Andre Schmidt, do this and I will spell your name correctly for eternity. Good snap. Good hold. The kick is on the way. The kick is good!
Oh my god.
Did it! They did it! Super Bowl champions by Flash Day! Fuck the Packers! Fuck them hard! A sneaky good team against the juggernaut that hasn't reached full speed. I think the Rams might be gunning for revenge. There's no snow to screw them over this time. The league's starting the narratives against the tush push, and the Eagles are suffering as a result. LA's not to be taken lightly. Stafford to Devontae was what people dreamed about 10 years ago. Now it's reality. This isn't a lead, this is domination. Crushing a supposed contenders that takes about Philly being fraudulent spread like wildfire online. The Eagles just can't do anything. And they keep fucking up. They need to snap out of it and fast, but it won't be this week. The Rams are too strong. It's a 26-7 lead and it ain't being blown. LA's got way too much pride. The Cardinals could survive the trials and tribulations of last week. The Rams can too. What the hell do you mean it's a game again? That's not offensive pass interference on A.J. Brown? LA, what are you doing? Stop driving off the cliff, damn it! A win's within your grasp, for fuck's sake. Just kick the field goal and take us home.
Joshua Carty has it blocked.
Oh god. It's panic time. The sleeping giant's been awoken. The Eagles' offense is back to soaring against a D that's dead to rights. Lo and behold, Philly stifles their opposition on a patented time-eating drive to take the lead for the first time all game. But opportunity opens. Their two-point conversion fails. Stafford's pretty good in the clutch. He had to carry Detroit all those years ago, and now he's got them in field goal range. So you're saying there's a chance?
Joshua Carty has it blocked again! This time Jordan Davis! The big man looks for the icing on one big cake! Eagles hang on!
That chance is gone. How many field goal blocks were there in a 5-minute span throughout the league? And why is it every time I praise a team they proceed to make me eat shit? Can't take your foot off the throat, boys. Watch this be the moment Philly starts obliterating everything in their path. The Rams house? Philly took that over years ago. So last year the Saints were dominating for 2 weeks, then fell off the face of the map. This year, is it that they're competitive for 2 weeks, then fall off the face of the map? Once they face a somewhat strong team in Seattle, they lied down and died. All facets of the game, Nola, was obliterated. Especially special teams. 200 yards in the return game was merely a statement. This game was over after the first quarter. And it's definitely the Saints team I was expecting to see. Worthless piles of ass. Seattle slaughter's the name of the game. It's what the Seahawks had to do. Take the cupcake opponent in front of them and smash them to bits in only one half. The rest was cruise control. An easy win for a team that's normally extremely cardiac. To their fans, that has to be the biggest relief of them all. With Ben Johnson returning to Detroit last week, there's a special reunion taking place in Chicago. Unfortunately for Matt Eberflus, he was an incompetent terrorist for the Bears. So there's no revenge sweeter than destroying what's supposed to resemble a defense in what are usually miserable confines. This was the most development that Caleb Williams has ever experienced under the tutelage of Flus. From fans wanting him dead in week 1 to slinging the rock at his peak. All he needed to do was face quite possibly the worst secondary in the league. 4 touchdowns delivered to pay dirt, a much-needed sight for the sorest of eyes. But at least they can stop the run. Jerry Jones will be proud. This shit wasn't anything close to a contest. And America celebrates so-called America's team eating shit. Being annihilated by the Millard Fillmore franchise while outmaneuvered at every angle? You better believe more pain's coming.
A little carry to land. Spring outside. This is taken down by Sewell again. We want to cover this. And CD is slow to get up. That's...
You're currently hearing is the entirety of the Dallas-Fort Worth area screaming in agony. Thank God CD's injury isn't long-term. Instead, you get the George Pickens experience. One-handed catches followed by terrible drops leading to picks. Slamming his helmet on the sideline like days of old. Don't say we didn't warn you, Dallas. It's a suss-off, boys and girls. One of these teams will be 3-0 in spite of the injuries and sloppy play they've shown so far. Really have to rely on the Rams or Seahawks for this division? Maybe the NFC West is warming up to something better. We just wait for it to happen like the saps we are. I don't know whether to call this a defensive grind or the ugliest slot fest since the early window. Neither offense can do anything besides a couple of field goals. Injuries and inconsistency abound. It shows us more to be alarmed about than not. Maserati Marvin may have the wheels, but his hands are apparently non-existent. It's dropping easy passes when he's wide open. Too bad you can't blame Kyler for those. Thankfully, San Francisco can't do much to break the seal either. Particularly near the Cardinal goal line because the force field is strong. The end zone shall remain sacred until the fourth quarter. Then the dam breaks for each team twice. Yet it still remains tied at 13. And now it's Mac Jones' time to crash Patriots style yet again. The Cardinals do nothing with it offensively, but they didn't need to. Just pin them near their goal line. A holding penalty resulting in a safety and Arizona taking the lead. You don't see that one every day. Plus, with the Cards getting the ball, they can... Yeah, it's not happening. The Cardinals are a cock tease and have to punt it back. It's a 2-minute drill in a Kyle Shanahan offense. Of course, it's going to result in Arizona finally breaking. The Niners ride the legs of CMC all the way to striking distance. And a chance to win alongside. It's no guarantee, though. San Francisco and field goals have been gambles in recent times.
The game with his leg. Sweeps it, delivers it, and San Francisco is in first place. They win it at the Horn.
If Jake Moody were still here, that kick would have accurately hit the uprights. San Francisco is 3-0, but are they an intimidating 3-0? Scraped by the skin of their teeth and nobody takes Arizona seriously. And this isn't even the most painful loss the Cards suffered today. James Conner's out for the remainder of the season, and quite possibly wraps up his career. This injury gives me Nick Chubb vibes. That's not good. One of the more underrated backs in football on his peak. Always brings a tear to my eye to see former Pitt Panthers fade like this. Did you seriously believe San Francisco would come out of this unscathed? Do you understand the Shanahan curse? Every carefully constructed paragon must crater in on itself. You want respite? Your punishment must be more severe. Nick Bosa's one of the cornerstones of the Niner defense, a truly elite edge rusher. I should technically say was for the foreseeable future. He tore his ACL. It's now Fred Warner and an army of men with popsicle sticks for legs back there. What deal with the devil did Kyle Shanahan make for the Millennium Falcon offense? He's becoming the NFL's Job with how many afflictions his teams suffer. An AFC West showdown for what could be divisional supremacy. Until the Chiefs end up getting their shit together. It's what you'd expect from two franchises seeking more. Slog full of strong defense and fighting in the trenches. Sprinkle in some splash plays here and there and you've got yourself another tight, low-scoring contest. Kind of a trend for this week along with blocked kicks. It will continue on for minutes and minutes on end. The decimation of spirit and manpower cut away with every punt, every turnover, every field goal. Denver has a 7-point lead in the fourth quarter, but it's hollow. Bronco fans are getting restless with their offense. They know Justin Herbert can tie things up with a feat of heroics. And by breaking the spell, their fears were confirmed.
6. Herbert to the air. Pipkins the pocket, the right tackle. Got away from Allen. Herbert alive in the throw. Caught. Touchdown! Allen! What a play!
No wonder why people love that guy. Greg Roman offense that can throw is like finding the unicorn and then taming it as your own. What a world we live in when the internet's calling Sean Payton conservative. Sorry to break it to you, but the problem's in his hand-picked quarterback. Bo Nix is pretty limited. Dude had 3 wide-open touchdowns and overthrew every single one. The Broncos needed better execution, and the only one they experienced was with a firing squad. Denver's finding amazing ways to shoot themselves when it matters. Honestly, the Broncos should be thanking their lucky stars. If they didn't have the fortune of facing the god-awful Titans, they'd be looking up at 0-3. And of course, it's an ironic end.
For the Chargers. Got it. 23-20. Zero's on the clock. It's over. And the Chargers.
Denver in heartbreak with game-winning field goals. At least there's something that's stable in this timeline. It's bizarre. The Chargers aren't just 3-0 to start out the year. They're 3-0 against division rivals. This feels so uncanny. Like I'm simply waiting for them to pull the rug on us eventually. I will say it's at least making me feel something different about Liquid LA. Even if it is massive confusion and uncertainty. But the gods demand a cause for such winning. Najee Harris. That's a ruptured Achilles. Did you really have to take out him? He's a good man who just needed a real offensive line to block for him. For fuck's sake. The world got to experience what it's like to be a Giants fan. Cheering against the Chiefs' empire of bullshit. New York! Really? Graham Gano injured himself in warm-ups again? This is the third time in 3 fucking years they don't have a kicker. Told you, this is what the G-men do to people. Siphon your will to live, but make you so weakened you can't end the pain. At least you have Cam Scadaboo, you'll mutter in the corner, drooling in a state of catatonia as New York fucks up at every turn. No point that KC can barely move the ball on offense. Shion ain't letting them go 0-3. Ref ball will aid them in the waning seconds of the first half, and that's pretty much a wrap. Kansas City won by default for one reason. Chef Russ is fucking cooked. Here's a hint. If Pittsburgh's getting rid of a player, avoid him like the plague. It usually means there's a legit red flag. People tried to say he still has it, but then you remembered it was against an Everflus defense and the goddamn Cowboys. Even a battered unit like the Chiefs turned him into a lolcow. That goal line drive in the fourth quarter was fucking hilarious. Throwing it to no one for intentional grounding on first down? A fucking QB draw on second? Who is he throwing these passes to? The goddamn crossbar? These weren't even close. If you were to tell me he was trying to get Dable and Shane fired, I'd believe you. I bet the dude put money on himself to fail. It was that bad. Once again, thank you for riding the Giants fan experience. You thought you could leave? Everyone tries, but they can't. With the bullshit Russ was pulling against the Chiefs, you can't check that out there again in good faith. Mr. Unlimited, hospital passes, hero ball, and groan-worthy antics. That's what Chef Russ is cooking these days. And he's burning the damn kitchen while trying to pour a glass of water. Dable and Shane's asses are smoldering on the hot seat. And they're chucking out the equivalent of a Hail Mary. Jackson Dart, I know you're nowhere near ready and have only been in on a handful of RPOs, but here are the reins. Go try to make filet mignon out of the shit stew in front of you. Do you realize who you're playing next week, G-Men? Do you see the gauntlet in the short-term future? You're thrusting a rookie headfirst into this? All you had to do was burn famous Jameson effigy for a few weeks as the memes ran wild. Then again, desperate men do desperate things. As any man on the dating scene will tell you, desperation leads to disaster. But seriously, how much worse can it get?
I'm going to fly for you.
If you were to simply glance at the box score, you'd assume, oh, it was a high-scoring game that went down to the wire and Baltimore was only a touchdown away. This must have been very evenly matched. That's the most deceiving thing your eyes will see. Detroit got out the belt and started going to town. The most thorough ass-whooping in Maryland in years. Only the Ravens can beat the Ravens? The Lions accepted their challenge, continuing their raising and pillaging of rival kingdoms to the tune of 7 sacks and 30 pressures. Against Lamar Jackson. Even if Lamar's performance was admirable, there was nothing he could do. But that's far from the main concern. This ain't your daddy's Ravens, D. This one's a Zach Orr unit against one of the iconic offenses of the modern age. They'll run all over Baltimore. And then they'll run them over again. Then back up and run them over just for the hell of it. I know the Ravens are without Van Noy and Madubuike, but good fucking lord. You think they found a way to stop Sonic and Knuckles from playing or something? I don't think there's a holy deity powerful enough to pray to for forgiveness. Plague spreads throughout the land. The bodies pile up as the Undertaker's working triple time. Worse, the king's coughing up blood. The true king will be crowned today, and it's in the form of a lion. Baltimore branded with hot coals as humiliation, to be mocked for the world to see as a man without clothes. Stripped of his lordly titles and forced to walk out of the city in shame. A statement in blood. Total Detroit victory. Ravens will see you when you inexplicably lose to the Steelers yet again when you should win by 30.
Bring out Jennings!
Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost.
Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost.
Thanks very much. See you on Thursday. Right.
For the Titans and Johnny Hecker for any type of fake. It looks like Franklin and the Colts are ready for it.
Yeah, Hecker has 16 completions.
Delay game on the
man.
offense. That's a 5-yard penalty. Fourth down.
That's terrible. And I know it's still within his range, but you're making life a little harder now, aren't you?